hell is that? Wednesday morning. Sir Rick, Drive Safe Dave here, coming to you. You know what? 126 days, 141 days, I'm sorry.
141.
141 days of driving safe. And I want to start with that because it's key to what we're doing. Drive Safe Dave, there's so many challenges out there. And we're just going to hop right into the one challenge right here. A new challenge out there on the road are the folks that are hopping on for a ride. Some call it a game, but we actually had our first death from somebody hopping on a truck in Nashville.
I'll tell you what, this is insane. Nothing about this makes sense. Jumping on, riding on. We've seen many incidences on the YouTube channel, things going on where people are hanging on the back of a trailer, holding on, going down the freeway. I'll tell you, bad decision, bad move, 911 call.
Yeah, this is a truck thing, and they're calling it a game because we saw it first in Atlanta. I think we reported on that last week in Atlanta. As a matter of fact, the local news station in Atlanta, hey, guess what? They used our truck, you know, a BCB truck to actually show a driver, show them what it looks like on it, a driver hanging on to it, and it's almost like a game. Yeah. Drive Safe Dave. And you know what? The challenges are out there. The challenges are tough. It's no game. And hey, listen, if you're thinking about playing this game, you know, with the big truck, driving down the highway, you know, you're insane. And here it is right here. This is, you know, common sense from the Atlanta PD where he says, we realize this may come as a surprise to some, but riding on the outside of a semi-truck that's going 65 to 75 or any moving vehicle, you know what, at any speed, hey, it's a death wish.
Yeah, it's not
right. No, duh. I feel like saying no S. Really? Well, how do you not know that? I mean, come on. I remember Drive Safe as a kid hopping on the train as it went by, but it wasn't going 75.
No.
You know, we would hop on the train behind Granny and Granddad's door, but it was barely moving. It wasn't safe then either.
First of all, anywhere there's not a seatbelt on in a vehicle, it's not safe to be on a vehicle. They don't even allow people in the back of a pickup truck anymore. They don't allow that to happen anymore. So if you don't have a seatbelt, you shouldn't be riding.
There are exceptions to that rule. School buses. School buses. There's one.
Don't hang out on the outside. Don't hang on the outside.
Yeah,
I think more school buses today have seatbelts than ever before. I think there are many school buses are implementing
Okay, well,
seatbelts.
they never had them before, so if there was one bus out there, it would be significantly higher.
Yeah, as the 15-year-old in this studio, let me tell you, there are no seatbelts on buses, so forget about the kids, forget about all that, but yeah, definitely, if you're hanging on the back of a truck, you might want to do your pre-trip to make sure that nobody's hopping on anyways.
And you know what? In Nashville, here we go. There's a guy hanging on, and the driver doesn't know what to do. Is he trying to break in because he's holding on the handle? At some point, I'm thinking the game just got unfun.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm on it, and while he was at the stoplight, you know what? Going 5 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour. Ah, crap! He's getting on the interstate. He's getting on the interstate. No more fun. I'm trying to get in. And the driver's like, is he breaking in?
Yeah,
What's he going to do?
He doesn't know if he's trying to be robbed.
He doesn't want to slow down, doesn't want to pull over. Is he getting robbed? And so he slows down, and either the guy hops off, falls off, but he's dead.
Right, he dies. I'll tell you what, no game. No, none of this is fun. None of this is just crazy. This is insane. I'm telling you, it's a 911 call. That's definitely call 911. That's definitely get the police involved. And you there's nothing about this makes any sense at all. I mean, really, nothing about this makes sense. No, where's the fun in this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. I'm not a joy. I don't get into that doesn't make me excited at all. You know, I value my life, and listen, when you're part of the BCB, we want you to value your life as well and the life of others. And again, if you find yourself in that predicament, I'm going to suggest slowing down, right? Calling 911. I don't know if there's a protocol yet on what to exactly do on this. You know,
wiggle the truck.
Yeah, are you trying? I mean, what a bad situation you're in, and we, again, you know what? More challenges out there for the big truck, and you know what? How does that tie into the interview yesterday? You know. With the guy talking about that. I mean, listen, we're not encouraging the joyride. No joyrides whatsoever on the big truck. Stay away from them. Get on. I don't even know. That is insane.
Yeah,
the fact that we're even talking about this. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, 7,000. So the odds are going down that it's going to happen, right? Pat Carr announced that 7,000 less trucks being made in the third quarter. That's their estimate right now. And they're not alone.
No. You're talking to all truck makers, all automakers, everybody that puts out new vehicles is feeling the crunch. And if they can't sell vehicles, they can't make as much money, right? They can't ideally, right? And they have to store the vehicles they make. They have to find a place to park them and wait for the chips to come.
Yeah, so quarter one, 3,000 trucks made and parked, right? You know, everything's almost ready to go. It's like pulling a bowl of cereal, but you got no milk.
Yeah, or a spoon.
You know, what are you going to do? You're going to set it to the side and wait until tomorrow?
Here's a fork,
And
Rick.
yeah, that's what, right? So that's what's going on. 3,000 trucks, quarter one, made, set aside.
Unbelievable.
The end of second quarter, it's up to 6,000.
And it's just, and I think we're going to continue to see this pinch until there's no word of a relief in sight.
Yeah,
nobody said, hey, it's just around the corner. Nobody has said that. Nobody has come up and said, wow, we've got just a couple of more minutes and we'll have chips all galore. No one has said that. In fact, they're saying just the opposite. They continue to see that shortage going way into next year.
Yeah, we reported yesterday, and it's not just the trucks, right? It's that medical equipment as well. Everybody's fighting for their place in the chip shortage era, and that's what we're in. The Volvos, KWs, internationals, it doesn't matter. You know, BMW, Ford, there's cars everywhere sitting almost ready to go, almost missing a chip.
No
That's
brain.
it. We're
No.
one chip away from getting that era, and it's nuts as we see this. We talk about the freight, we talk about the rejections, we talk about all of these shipping issues that are going on, and people today, let's face it, they're having to get creative. Right, we're getting creative. You know, the air cargo, we're seeing, you know, we talked about the United taking some of their passenger planes, making them cargo planes.
Right.
They move less freight, right? 38% less freight. They're less efficient. They cost more to operate. However, the demand is so high. You have Coca-Cola now talking about, you know what, no more containers. We have no containers. They're not out there. Let's just go buy a cargo ship. Let's go lease a cargo ship, the bulk, right?
Yeah.
The dry bulk, and here it is, Coca-Cola bringing in their raw material in via bulk now.
Yeah, that's crazy, not shipping it in the storage containers. And even those bulk containers, even that bulk started to go up because people are starting to see this demand and starting to see. So it's all like this domino effect of figuring out how to move this freight on the best and most efficient way, and here it is again. That's going to start to rise.
Yeah, we saw that. You know, the bulk prices hit the highest since they've been since 2007, 2008, in that range, at $80,000 a day for a bulk ship is what the cost is. Now, that's the rent price, right? The rent, and bring it as you know, and drive it like a rental, right? Does it work the same way on that? I mean, it's just a rental. Just drive it like you want to. At $80,000 a day, drive safe.
Do you have to? Do you sign the little waiver, insurance waiver?
Are you doing a pre-trip on that? I mean, do you send somebody down? You know what? Do you got that little ding right there?
Whoa! I need a picture of this. I'm signing off on this. Do you circle you walk or do a boat around? Do you do a boat around? I'm not sure.
You know what? A proper pre-trip is always required. Hey, listen, we had and talk about ships. We talk about how many ships are sitting out there at the ocean, right? Waiting to get unloaded in the East Coast, West Coast. It doesn't matter. We had a big oil spill on Sunday.
Yep.
Okay, major oil spill, 150,000 gallons of oil comes out. You know, a lot of it hitting the coast of California there in LA. And Drive Safe Dave, one of the reasons they believe is an anchor probably hit that. And when you have so many boats out there, ships, not boats, right? Anchored at sea, I think things like this can happen because these anchors, listen, they're 10,000, they're 10,000 pounds or something like that.
So the guy was saying it on the newsreel, and he was mentioning it. He was saying that the pipeline that it broke had been pulled so far one direction and finally snapped. It just looked like it was laying out like this, and then all of a sudden goes out like this. So something definitely caught it and drug it.
Yeah, so it was 126,000 gallons, and the weight of that anchor, 10 tons. So that's how much them anchors are. They're not like our little John boats, right? Just throw a little tin can in there. I don't think that's happening, right? But again, we see all of the constraints that we're having right now. And you would think, what does that have to do with this oil spill? You know what? It may not have anything to do with it. Maybe it would have happened anyway. But when you have so many ships at bay being thrown around, and they talk about it all the time, is that, hey, listen, the wind out there, the current, it ain't like you throw that 10,000 tons out there and it just hangs out and it just stops. It's moving the ships around.
Yeah, and when you drop anchor and you do store anchor, they still have to, put their bow in the wind. They still have certain things they have to do. There's certain amounts of fuel they still have to expend. But when they do throw anchor, or drop anchor, they lose less energy. They use less fuel to get around, and it saves them money in the long term.
Hey, there is one ship that figured it out. That was the ship out there in the Suez Canal, as it was stuck and didn't move for many a days. What was your secret? Share that with the rest of the world on how you get a ship stuck at the ocean.
Well, that's just bad driving. That's not really an anchor issue. That's more of a steering issue.
Hey, I know we have Atri coming on, I think this week for an interview, going over some of the electrical tax, because that's a true thing, Drive Safe Dave. The heavy highway taxes, right? The IFTA taxes right now. Well, hey, guess what? There's a problem when it comes to on the IFTA side, and that's the electric vehicle.
Yeah, so everything's a fuel tax, and the fuel tax is gained, and you're talking about billions of dollars that go in that fund this roads and highways, and that's all based upon the purchase of fuel. And if you're not buying fuel and you're using electricity, and the more and more electricity we use, where is that money going to come from? How are we going to continue to fund these roads? How are we going to continue to pay for these? And they're trying to find alternative ways to tax our electric vehicles.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. The study just came out, as well as solution. Hey, producer, what day is that interview going to be on?
Well, I still have to. We're still meeting with him,
Gotcha.
so we haven't set an official date yet. But I should be meeting with him either tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow is when we're
Gotcha.
meeting.
So we got some big interviews. Producer was busy, and we also have coming up a pre-interview with the autonomous vehicle.
Yes. So
Yeah, I saw
Waymo is going to be meeting with us as well, and we should be getting a representative in here next week as well.
Wow,
What's it called?
Waymo.
Okay, Waymo. That's what I called. I think you said Waymo. I was like, I better get that name straight before I jack that
We
up.
won't tell you till the interview starts.
Hey, Rick, yeah, this is what it's really called. But no, so some big interviews coming up. We had some great interviews last week. Hey, we want your feedback as well. Is there something you want to hear about? Is there some conversations you want us to get? Because let me tell you something, we can get the folks in here. The folks are knocking on our door saying, let us into BCB Live. How do we become part of that? Drive Safe Dave, you have your orange shirt on right now, right? And it's scaring me because it's getting me back to the old days.
Pumpkin.
It goes back to Halloween, and we talked about scary movies. Hey, listen, we want your scary movie ideas. And we're going to start with mine as we go into a break. We're going to talk as we go into a short break. We're going to talk about my Freddy Krueger nightmare and how it scared the crap out of me, Drive Safe Dave. And I don't know if there's a scarier movie out there today than that. And it's still, when you watch it today, it's real, man. It feels real. It's the arms growing out. Producer, give me some feedback. Is it scaring you?
Not really.
Not
really.
Tell you
It's
that,
kinda
you look at it today and you're like, you know what? That's not as scary as it was back then. But I tell you what, back then it was the slasher movie. It was started up the good slasher stuff.
Yeah, but you got to watch it on Betamax too. I mean, you can't watch it
Let
on
me
this
pull
high.
that machine
Yes,
out.
you got to watch it on the Betamax, and it's so much. I'm telling you, it's real. Producer, let's go this to let's show a little highlight of the scary movie here. Now this part here, back in high school, Drive Safe Dave, I'm like, all right,
Okay.
what we got going on?
Whoa.
I'm like, all right, I'm digging this part. Nobody's home, and then, she's got the
Who the
door.
hell is that?
Oh, yeah, here it comes.
And this is the part right now that you're wondering, first of all, she's dreaming and she's walking out there and you're like, turn back around.
Run back into the house.
It's like that commercial that you see right now, right? The Geico commercial, whatever, when they run to where the chainsaws are.
Yeah, run to the graveyard.
And here he goes right here. Dave, try to say, Dave, how can you not look at this dude right now? This is a dream, and it's real, and she's waking up with marks on her, and his arms are growing, and his head's big, and he's coming at her, and he's like, okay, oh no, look at that, sparks coming off.
I'm just going to say,
Dude,
it was
scarier. Scary, scary, scary. If you have a scarier movie, Drive Safe Dave, hey, you make your submission.
I'm going.
Right now, we're going to live. Oh, God. Go to a break. Go to a break. All right, go to a break. Luck here, host of BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. If you don't already know about Freight and Review, it's a segment I cover once a week where I analyze freight rejections, freight tenders, driver productivity, and much, much more. You can watch Freight and Review on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live. You're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News over the UK, they have the Army personnel getting ready to start driving the fuel truck. Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob.
And most importantly, safety.
You can do many things to communicate that you are slowing down. You can flip your hazards on.
Expect craziness like this all the time.
75% of these fatal accidents involving these trucks are with the first two, and it's the driving too fast and tailgating. If this driver hadn't slowed down, this could have been a whole different outcome.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live. All right, welcome back to BCB Live. So what are you waiting for? Join BCB Live, subscribe today, be a follower, a listener, join the cult of BCB Live. Let me tell you something, it'll make you feel good. If you've never been part of something before, if you've never had somebody to come home and love, we will love you. We will take care of you, my brothers and my sisters. It's about BCB Live. But listen, you got to want to be safe. If you don't want that, you're not welcome. If you don't care about, if you want to hop on trucks as they go down the road, go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's not the way. It's all about, it's not the way. Not here. We're all about promoting safety and making sure that safety is what you want to do. Safety is what you want to talk about, and safety is what you want to be every single day. That's what we're here for. We're here to make it better.
No doubt about it. Hey, listen, if you're out there now, and I get it right now, some of you had to pull over because you got a little scared of Freddy Krueger.
Okay.
I get it. It's real, and it's scary, and some of you drive, I'm telling you, some of them lived that life, and they watched it alone. Home Alone, and it was so real. Listen, create your submission. Email us at BCB Live. Send the producer a message. Give him an information. Tell him what your scariest movie was, because this is the month of Halloween, Drive Safe Dave. And what is Happy Halloween? Is that an oxymoron? That doesn't even make sense. Happy Halloween? It's not meant to be happy. It's meant to be scary.
I don't think so. Was it meant to be scary? I don't know if it's meant to be scary,
It's
but I truly.
satanic
I don't
holiday,
know,
isn't it?
It's
Am I
Halloween.
making that up?
No,
Isn't it supposed to be like
I don't truly believe it's satanic. I don't think nobody's worshiping Satan.
It's the one
out there.
day you're allowed to do that, right?
No.
No? Did I get this wrong?
Yes. Yes. That's not what children are doing. That's not what children are doing.
Yeah, no. Halloween is actually the opposite of a satanic holiday. Like Drive Safe Dave said, it was celebrating Hallows Eve, observed on October 31st. So it's the evening before All Saints Day, and it marks the day before the Western Christian feast and initiates the season of All Hallowtide, which lasts 3 days and concludes with All Souls' Day. So the opposite of, hey, let's worship the devil for 3 days, but we can read headlines.
That will give me and Mom something to talk about on Friday. That, my friend, will give us something to talk about. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, listen, we pulled out of Afghanistan. And I think we're not hearing as much about the news. Still a lot going on over there, and some big news coming out right now. And as it starts to get a little chilly over there, it can really come into play. Is the Taliban hadn't paid their electric bill yet.
Yes, I saw that. And I'll tell you what, you look.
What is that? I thought we quit selling Ben and Jerry's ice cream over there.
No, sir, that was in Israel. That was in the West Bank. I will tell you that, you look at it, and when you drop your government, I'll tell you what, I truly believe it's tourism that has fallen off, has not been able to make the taxes that they needed, that tourism taxes, that tourism money in Afghanistan right now. They can't really get that money from that to go ahead and pay that light bill.
But it's real news, right? I mean, they haven't paid, and that gets funded by China or some of the adjoining countries, right? The electric companies.
No, they got to pay them, right?
They got to pay them. They haven't seen any money come in yet. And as comical as it is, Drive Safe Dave, it gets pretty cold there, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, so it's quickly becoming a humanitarian issue, and now the question's going to be, producer. I'm going to get producer in on this. Producer, if it becomes a humanitarian issue, what happens? Do we go back in there with the blankets? I mean, what happens now with do we go back and bail them out?
I mean, I am no, foreign policy expert at all. I think that once it comes down to something like that, it would come down to either the people who are allied with the country, or maybe a UN problem to go in and send help with that. I don't know if that falls on the U.S. military. So
yeah, well, I will tell you that as you look back and you consider it. First of all, I think they have to be in order for the UN to go in, they have to be recognized as a government body, governing body.
And they are.
Okay,
they're getting to that point.
Yeah,
if they're not already. They're getting to that point.
Yeah, and they have to be recognized by a governing body. And then there are other forms of humanitarian aid that don't hold. That are outside of politics, right? They're just there for, Doctors Without Borders have absolutely no affiliation with politics at all. So, I mean, it just depends on what you're talking about. But I will tell you, you look at that and you consider it, it takes a while to form a government. It takes a while to get the money to be paid. I will say that there's some different things. There's still a power struggle going on in this country. Just yesterday, they reported that the Taliban actually attacked and killed an ISIS facility. So, I mean, there's a lot going on within the government. There's still a struggle going on within the borders to make sure, there's this vacuum that was created when we pulled out is being filled by somebody.
Yeah, and as the Taliban begins to possibly be recognized by the UN, it brings it back to me and kind of goes back to, back to maybe a year ago when we were talking about the kingdom of Rick, right? The kingdom of Sir Rick, and how much real is this becoming? And you know what? It's not too late to join the kingdom. It's not too late to drive safe, Dave. What's wrong?
I'm having a real hard time. We ousted the royals a long time ago, back in the 1770s, and here you are trying to re-implement something. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and forward you a copy of the Constitution so that you can read through it and understand it has a little bit more to do than the Kingdom of Rick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Drive Safe Dave on this one. I've been
we don't recognize the Constitution in the Kingdom of Rick.
Okay.
We know, Sir Rick.
Have you not read it? It's written in pencil, so it can be changed at any moment, right?
You know what else? You know what else happened during the monarchy? The Black Plague. I've been listening to the podcast over the plague, and if it gets handled like that here, I think we might be in trouble. So I'm gonna have to decide with Drive Safe Dave on that one.
Wow. So basically,
referring to my
we're
kingdom as a plague.
Yeah, I am too.
All
now
right.
I like how he's put that shadow over your kingdom.
I like it. Hey, listen, if you have some questions, we have a few minutes here. You want to talk about your scary movie?
Yep.
Hey, raise your hand. Give us a talk. If you got some conversation, even on what's going on with the games, right? With games, it's not a game. It's life and death. These folks hopping on these trucks. Hey, raise your hand. Have you seen anything like that out there? What are you going to do when you see that, when you come across it? We suggest, obviously, calling 911. Hey, but get involved with that. Let us know. Producer, who do we got?
Yeah, we got Brian Winsauer. What do you got for us today, sir?
Good morning, everybody. Scary movie that really kind of jacked up my brain halfway through my junior high. I don't know. Dover might remember it, called Soylent Green. The premise of the movie, and it was a book. Due to overpopulation, people were only allowed to live to age 35. And then they killed everybody and turned them into biscuits. And that's what people ate, and that sustained the population. It was a horribly bad movie that just man, it messed me up.
So
for
that
a long
never,
time.
Mr. Winshauer, that never made the motion picture. It doesn't sound like it was only a book.
No, it made
Was
motion. Absolutely, it definitely. I think was it Burt Lancaster?
Fried
in
green
that?
tomatoes?
Was it Burt Lancaster that was in that? Can't remember, but yeah, I saw the movie Soylent Green.
It was Burt Lancaster. You are correct.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay, I'll put that down to watch that.
good call.
You know what? But nothing wrong with Little Biscuit. You know what? If I'm gonna eat somebody, another human, you know what? Biscuit, maybe some gravy on the side, some butter and some butter and jelly. I'm good. You know what? Try Safe Dave. I guess I'm down with that part right there. I'll watch that one because I want to see that. But
Rick's over here promoting cannibalism. I'm not. I'm just saying that's.
hey, it's
go
Halloween.
one way.
It's
That's
Halloween. Hey, thank you for that, Mr. Winshauer. Anybody else? Give us your feedback, your comments on that, because I'm just gonna say, Halloween for most of us, there was always a movie that did it, and it changed. For a while, at least for that next few days, changed our habits.
Yeah,
of sleeping with the door closed. Oh no, Mom,
looking
leave
under
the
the
door
bed,
open. Yeah.
looking under the bed. Making sure that you didn't do it. Yeah, and walking around. Lights came on. You know what? We turned on a lot of lights.
Hey, where are we at with our infrastructure package, Draft Safe?
They are still leveraging. I'll tell you what. It looks like the House Democrats are working to trim it down a little bit from 3.5. I'll tell you what. There's a few holdouts still left. Both West Virginia and one more, and they're trying to trim it back. They're trying to come up with a compromise. But I'll tell you what, the Republicans are backing off, and they're letting the Democrats do it because it's their bill and they're going to pass it anyway. They just got to figure out how to do it.
Gotcha. In other news, producer, you have something?
Well, I was just going to say we did get a little bit of that Soylent Green here if you guys are curious and want to take a look at it.
Check that out for a second.
Soylent Green.
Soylent Green has been exhausted. Return to your home.
What is the secret of Soylent Green? Detective Sergeant Thorne.
Here we go, Burt Lancaster.
So I heard it as Soylent Green, so I was thinking, that's kind of a weird, title, or what are they soiling green for? And I didn't know if the biscuits were green that they were eating, and that was the reason they were soiling green, but it's not soiling.
Yeah, I think, and also, if I'm not mistaken, I think Brian will remember this. I think the soy industry had a big problem with this movie because of using the word soy inside the name of the movie. So I truly believe they had a problem with this movie, if I remember right. So, but this was back in what, 72? When was this movie? Back in 72, 73?
Yeah, it looked like it, right? It wasn't near as realistic as the Nightmare on Elm Street. You can see that really came back out. Technology.
73? Yeah, I knew it was back then. 73.
That technology in Nightmare was significantly higher than what we saw there. Just so much more realistic.
Yeah, bad cinematography. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
It is what it is. They do what they have on that. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, as we get close to that phrase that pays, we want to sit here and remind everybody how serious it is out there. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know y'all are living this, and the challenges that you have every day, and we'll keep going over that and over that. They're real, and those are the challenges of being worn out, being tired, the challenge of idiots hopping on your truck, right? Idiots hopping on the trailer. When you pick a trailer up coming across the border, there's a good chance there could be somebody on that as well, hitching a ride across the border. The challenges are real out there, and we've got to make sure that we keep talking about this, and that's, what's happening right now around you. What is my current status? Is it rain? Is it snowing? Is there a riot going on? All of these things are real, and things that you must deal with every second of the day, and it changes all the time. My God, is there another business that is consistently inconsistent like the trucking industry?
No, I can't even imagine a maybe bomb disposal expert. I'm just saying how weird and how dangerous. I'm just saying how much different it is every single day.
It's just a red wire or a blue wire. That's all it is.
Yeah, but
and which one do you cut? You got 50-50 chance every time.
But where is that bomb? I mean, it's not always. I mean, it just depends on where they put it. But what I mean by that is the dangers are real, and and we need to talk about them, and that's what we're doing here. We talk about them and we bring them out in the open so that it becomes a real topic, and you don't have to worry about what's going on, because we're going to talk about it, and we're going to make sure that we're all aware of these difficult situations and talk about solutions for these situations.
Yeah. We always want to make sure we have a solution. It's paramount, right? That we have a reason. We don't just complain, man. That these cars. Well, what's the solution? The solution could be getting more sleep. You know what? I'm worn out. The solution may be trying to find a way to get more sleep somehow,
or slowing down.
Yeah, slowing down. I'm in
Absolutely.
traffic. The idiots in the left lane. Slow down. Back off. Create space. All of these things that we do have solutions, and it requires action. Drive safe, Dave. It's phrase that pays time. Can you give us that phrase that pays?
Use communication to avoid a bad situation.
One more time.
Use communication to avoid a bad situation.
Welcome back and good morning on this Wednesday morning as this Buckle Up Bob, and we're going to go into a little bit of traffic this morning. The DFW area is expect some consistent slowdowns, if you will, in that 20 to 30 minute range. You can see a lot of red on the map. Even the loops, you've got little spots here and there all the way around the loop, with the exception of maybe this northwestern quadrant corner. But you're going to see some coming in on almost all the major highways and going around the loop. Same thing, 30's always a trouble spot right here between the 820 and Arlington. You've also got some coming up from the south, some delays as well. The loop, once you get going west around Fort Worth, it opens up a little bit. So again, the loop is pretty good on the Fort Worth area, just a little bit the eastbound traffic once you get east of that 35W highway. Hey, we go to Kansas City. Again, looks pretty good. A little bit of congestion up here north of the city, but the loops are all clear. 435, 470, all look good. 291 looks clear. And then even on the backside, the west side looks clear as well, and 70 coming into the downtown area. Chicago don't look too bad. Of course, it's always red there in the inner city, but the loop looks pretty good. A little bit here near Bolingbrook coming out. It looks like going west out of the Chicago area, we have a little bit of slowdown just south of Bolingbrook. But the rest of the area looks good. The loops all look pretty clear if you're heading into the Chicago area this morning. Atlanta is just congested all the way around. You can see just the southeastern or western loop is pretty clear, but everything else, you're going to have some major delays, it looks like, in Atlanta this morning, coming from the west 20, even getting to the loops. But the loops, especially up north there, really some dark maroon there. So we've got probably, you're going to see some 30 to 45 minute delays up in the northern part of the loop. And just as a reminder, you must use the loops when you're going around Atlanta. You cannot pass through it as a Georgia law. The only time you're allowed to go inside the loops is if you're delivering inside that area. But it looks like a major slowdown. Philadelphia area, again, the Pennsylvania side looks really congested, a lot of delays and slowdowns, if you will. The New Jersey side looks a little bit better than it did yesterday. A few little congestion spots here at 42 as you approach 295. going around the Philadelphia area. So the New Jersey side doesn't look too bad. A little bit of delays coming in from the east to the downtown Philadelphia area. But on the Pennsylvania side, expect some major delays as you come into the Philadelphia area. In our Nashville area, there is a little bit of weather surrounding it. You can see a little bit of the blue, so you may see some sprinkles or some light showers. But Nashville also has some major traffic issues. As you can see, a lot of the red there on the southeastern portion. And again, 24, as you come into the Nashville area, you can expect a lot of traffic and slowdowns there. The loops look pretty clear. Just a little bit of some red around the southeastern loop, but the rest of that, Nashville looks pretty clear as you go through, as you enter that area this morning. Our weather looks pretty good. As we said, there is some rain right there around Tennessee, in the Kentucky mainly, and Virginia area, and then again a little bit around the northeastern part of Atlanta, and then down in the Florida Panhandle, you can see some scattered showers. As we go through our day, these are going to expected to intensify. So you can kind of see the red starts to creep in there. All of Georgia has some chance for some rain. Most of Alabama, South Carolina, and then up in that Nashville all the way to Knoxville area. Kentucky, you can see the big pattern. So you're going to have a lot in that 40 and in that midwestern part of the country. You're going to see some thunderstorms. And as we go through the night, you can see there in Alabama, it gets even worse. Right there on the Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee border. Expect some strong thunderstorms as well, potential. Tomorrow, much of the same. You can see as that moves up and east a little bit into the North Carolina area, you can see some potential for some strong storms as well. Our wind gusts, we get a pretty good break on the winds, you know. You can see tomorrow, not much to speak of. This afternoon, we'll get a little bit windy. You can see up there in the Dakotas and Wyoming, but really nothing major out in Reno. Just a quick fire update. Most of the fires are at the 90% control. There is a little bit up here near in the Oregon area, but they're not near. They're about 25 miles, and they're east of the highway, so don't expect any problem. They're in that 40 to 80,000 acre range, and they're about 40 to 50% contained. So just a reminder, hey, if you see smoke, don't drive through it. Turn around, find a safe place, and then reevaluate and see if it's actually safe to continue. We'll take a quick break and be right back with some safety.
Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You know, there's a couple things you brought up. You want to stay away from smoke, right?
Yes.
And you also want to stay away from the dude with the claws on him. You know, whether it's the Wolverine or Freddy Krueger, stay away. They're scary.
I never watched one Freddy Krueger movie.
What? Don't start it now, Bob. It may be too much on the heart today because it's real and it will give you some nightmares on there. It's why it's called A Nightmare on Elm Street.
It was real back then. I am not a scary movie fan. I had nightmares after the one that started it all. Any idea? The one that really started all the horror films.
What was that?
Really up the edge was The Exorcist.
Yep.
And then everything just kind of started. It's still ranked as one of the top 3 movies. Again, by today's standards, not very scary at all. But for me, that one, and then it was followed up by Carrie. I still wait for the hands to come out of the grave when I walk by Carrie, any kind of graveyard. But so I didn't watch any of the Freddy Kruegers and any of the Halloweens because I was too scared to do so.
I was addicted to them. I watched every one of them.
Did you watch me in your bright orange shirt too?
Yeah, I did.
Halloween
I wore the
costume?
brightest. I plugged all my shirts in before I went to the movie so that I could be.
Even back in the days, if he's going to do something, he was going to do it safe. And that included watching horror movies. He was going to watch it safely. Speaking of safety, buckle up, Bob. What's the subject for today?
Well, this week we're doing the lead twos, if you will. again, we do a situational. Your awareness should lead to slower speed. When you see something, you need to react right away. And the reason you need to do that is because the slower speed will increase your space. And the reason you got to do that is you have to realize in truck simulators, they put drivers through the test and they throw things up at them. And on average, some are faster, some are slower, but on average, it will take you 1 second to recognize you have a problem. And then it takes you a half a second to physically pick your foot up, step on the brake. And then depending on your equipment, you can have up to around 3/4 of a second brake lag time. So what that means you travel 2.25 seconds or at 65 miles an hour, almost a football field, before you even start to slow that big rig down. So it's important to understand that why when we say you can't tailgate, use the lines. You need to have that 4 to 5 seconds because if you're at 2 or less, you're not even going to start to slow down before you hit them people because they're going to slow down quicker in most cases, especially if they're four-wheel cars. And so again, 2.25 seconds, almost a football field, before you even begin to slow down. That's just processing through. So that's what we talk about. Slower speed, 5 miles an hour, right? Yesterday we showed that can reduce fatalities by 8%. It's because that 5 miles per hour gives you that extra 1 or 2 seconds that maybe takes from just running right through the car to hitting them, or from hitting them to just not hitting them at all. So every little bit, it reduces the severity of what's going on out there.
Yeah, when you talk about the distractions or being on a cell phone or something like that, that 2.5 seconds quickly becomes 3.5 or 4 seconds, and now you've gone a football field and a half. And when you put it in that perspective, you think about a football field before you even react to it. That's how far you've gone. I mean, a lot of bad things. Let's put it this way. Death is most certain to happen when you're going a football field before you even begin to react.
Yeah, and that's a great point because, when we use this 2.25 seconds, that's knowing what happens after the fact. I don't know if one of the greatest examples of this to me was that Sully movie when they tried to pin it on him and he said, wait a minute, put in a 1.5 seconds where we were processing this. And then all the models had them crashing. And it's kind of the same way. It's like, that 2.25 seconds, we can say that because we know this is going to happen and this is what it takes. But when you're out there, like you said, you look away for a minute, there's that extra second. Now that 2.25 becomes 3.25, because now you got to look back and then go through the whole process again.
All right.
So good points.
Yeah, let's get some videos.
Videos. We got some decent ones here. Just reminders. Good thing this guy, but we're going to have a other vehicle out in the middle of nowhere. But it's really hard to see.
It almost looks like a truck simulator right here. Is this even a real video?
Yeah. And then we got a guy passing in the no passing zone. Did use his blinker, but it's just one of those things where you've got to be aware, even out here where it looks wide open, I think it's very hard to see what's on the horizon there a little bit.
All right, for real. Is this a real video?
It's a real video.
Whose video is this?
This is this driver's video that.
I mean, what kind of camera is this? I'm serious. This thing it doesn't look like our normal videos. It looks like a cartoon.
And by the way, this windshield is clean.
Yes.
And the horizon is beautiful. I'll tell you, when we go into it, and you just got to be ready as we talk about it, and I know it's a no passing zone, but right here it is a passing zone, and the driver could have already started to make his move at this moment by moving over and started to accelerate, and then it becomes, and he's already committed into the lane. So as you look at it, you can see that, you just got to be prepared for all things.
Yeah, and you could be right with one fault in that analogy, Dave, is there's nothing in that mirror when he comes in on this sign. See, we're in the double white line. There's nothing there, and there it comes. So, yeah, but good analogy. It could have been, possibly.
All right, video 2.
He just got into it. Hey, situational awareness. Drivers able to stop at the traffic lights. We love this. Stale green, got to be prepared to stop. And the driver was able to stop in plenty of time here at the deadliest spots in the world. On the highways, sorry.
And you know what? There's been some problems with this light, right? They're even giving you warnings on the road.
Yeah, you got the rumble strips there in the middle of the road to slow down.
There's flashing lights, there's signs, there's everything out there. Yes, I believe you are correct.
Looks like a runway almost. And here, just don't. Folks, it's that time of year, farm equipment's on the roads, and here, one truck does it, another truck follows right behind it. It's illegal. Don't do it.
Come on.
There's no reason for this.
I mean, and you know, we see the videos, right, of vehicles passing, you know, the trucks, and we see that's wrong, and yet here we go, we're in the lane, and let's face it, we're actually in this oncoming truck, we're in his lane.
Yes.
And we're riding in the other lane. This is not the way to do it. Only bad things happen here, Drive Safe Dave. A head-on collision, there's fatalities. Head-on collision, you know, the trucking company, you know, they're in trouble. Insurance rates are going to skyrocket. So, you know, somebody's going to write home to the family saying, you know what, good chance that, you know, that both parties on this die.
Yep.
And why? For what? What did we gain? What was gained on this?
Yeah, and if the driver had just been a little more patient and had waited, you'll notice that it does become a passing lane soon after this, and everything changes in perspective. The traffic has passed. You have better view down the road, right? You can see more. You got a better picture. Right now, what you have right here, limited visibility by the big truck in the left lane, limited visibility by the truck in front of you. You don't see that, and then only when you come out do you see the other truck in the horizon. Not good, not a great decision process right here.
No. Here again, back off, you know, starts to increase space, and we talk about things changing every second, you know, starts to pick up, then something changes and able to slow down. Good job by this driver. We always see the roadway there, but again, somebody comes into the lane, you had plenty of space, starts to immediately back off and increase that space. That's what you have to do. Remember that 2.25 seconds we talk about. This driver gives himself a little bit of extra time by immediately slowing down and creating that space.
Yep.
And then traffic does come to a stop.
Yeah, merging highways. We have the orange signs out there, you know, signifying possible construction up ahead. We have the car that kind of cuts in front of us, right? We back off a little bit, but back off a little bit more. There's a lot of things going on right now. If we just look wide right now for a minute, we just stop. We see there's more than two lanes. We have merging going on. We have an orange sign coming up here. Time to slow down even more because odds are there's going to be a backup.
What's the most dangerous? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were skipping to the next. The most dangerous turn, Drive Safe, Dave? Never safe to do? This video will show you.
A U-turn.
A U-turn. Great situational awareness by this driver as the other vehicle coming the other way is going to make a U-turn right in the middle of the highway there. And this driver, you know, way back here has plenty of space, good speed management, and keeping that big picture in mind as he sees another vehicle trying to make a U-turn. Never safe to do so, especially on these rural country roads. You see it a lot. Good job by this driver. And this is just scary. Somebody coming down the wrong way. It's a one-way. You can't, but it's the other vehicle. Great awareness by this driver, just almost stopping completely. Gets to the right, which is kind of the textbook. Get to the right of the oncoming vehicle and just slow the speed. Take the speed out of it as quick as you can. Driver did this. And just, you know, this driver called me on this one and said, man, it was scary because this guy just made the wrong turn, I guess right here. Came off of the other way and made a right turn, didn't know where they were, but clearly made a mistake there, and it almost could have been really catastrophic. But this driver did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, that's a scary situation for certain, you know, and again, the reason why we've got to stay alert, we have to be aware of what's going on. You know, and we see that car, right, that made that right-hand turn probably right there at the light. It's just, you know what? Was it a kid? Was it his first time? Obviously, it's somebody that's not familiar with the area. Yes. And when you're in a place, whether you're in a big truck or a car, you're not familiar. Man, sometimes you just get in a rush and you make a hurried decision, not a safe decision, a hurried decision, and that can lead yourself. That can put you in a bad situation, right? That can put the big truck in an area that it doesn't need to be at. You know, with possibly low bridges. You do make that decision in Chicago, Drive Safe, Dave. You could be in problems, right?
That's not just in Chicago, but anywhere in the country where low bridges exist. You got to make sure that you're aware of where you're going, what you're doing, and pre-planning. And as you watch this video, it's a great example of how quickly it changes out there for everybody and what they're doing. And the driver reacted accordingly, moved over textbook to the right, made sure. And then what I really liked was the driver slowed down even after to not only make sure he was okay in the lane and doing everything right, but was making sure that everything was going okay, everything around him. Man, great job. Textbook stuff.
What do we got, producer?
Yeah, we got Alex Rodriguez here. What do you got for us, sir?
Alex, way to call the game yesterday. We could have used you. How about you, A-Rod?
You should be able to unmute your mic now.
All right. Alex Rodriguez going once, going twice. All right. He got a little lost connection or something right there.
Yes.
But you know what? Some of those videos there, and let's just go back into the one where we passed, or where we saw the video that passing the farm equipment. Patience, right? I mean,
That's
we
it.
talked about that with Kristen Perry on the phones, about traveling, right? Pack your patience. You got to pack your patience also when you're out there on the road.
Yeah, especially this time of year. These equipments are going to be out there. The corn's starting to be harvested, the wheat, right? So on these rural highways, you're going to see this. You have to expect it, you have to plan for it, and you have to be patient around it. Gary, there's only one reason you do that, and that's that patient. It's a farm thing. It's probably doing 15 miles an hour, and you just don't want to do that, but you have to. If you're going to take these highways, on these rural highways, you have to be situational awareness. You have to expect this, and you have to pack your patience.
And we get a little close to the farm equipment as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if a vehicle is on the oncoming, what are you going to do? Ride its tail? I mean, again, we're putting ourselves in a bad situation. Have some patience. I mean, if this farmer decides to stop for some reason, maybe he's going to make a left-hand turn or something. What happens? Maybe we run into the rear end of him. Nothing good's going to happen from this. We're going to plead with you we talk about the situational awareness. We're going to plead with you, and maybe that's the next thing. We as we talk about situational awareness, the patience. You've got to have more patience. And you say, well, I was patient enough. I was waiting. You need more patience. You know what? When you have a newborn kid, you can never be too patient, right?
No.
I mean, you've been there, done that. I mean,
Yes.
You know what? You got to be more
There's
patient.
not enough.
More patient. And that's what we're asking you is as patient as you are 99% of the time. 99% of the time, I don't do this.
Right.
Well, guess what? That 1% that you lost patience, we could have taken life. It
Yeah.
only takes that one time.
Yeah, look, I understand full well the idea of maintaining momentum. I understand the full idea of not losing the RPMs on the truck. I understand all of that, but none of that matters when all of a sudden you decide that the double yellow line, the no passing zone, is as unimportant as your being in a hurry. And when you make that bad decision there, then all of a sudden all these other things continue to happen. Oncoming traffic, not maybe being able to see well, not doing. All of that's by design, right? Those double yellow lines are there for a reason. They're designed that way because the engineers have already found that there can be a surprise because of a small lull in the road. You need that big visibility when you pass. Just because somebody's passing in front of you, that is not the okay for you to pass. Just because that truck did the wrong thing, that doesn't mean everybody in succession does the wrong thing. And I'm telling you, that's what we're trying to do here, and that's what we're going to continue to do here. When we talk about doing the right thing, it seems that others follow when you do the right thing.
Yeah, and it's an image thing too, right? We got to make sure that we're going above and beyond. Not only are we doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, we've got an image to protect. Matter of fact, it's not to protect, it's to grow, to really work on, because our image has been tarnished. And it's tarnished by acts like this.
Right.
And it's just acts of, and it doesn't make you a crazy driver. And we see it just means for 1 second, for 25 seconds, you lost your patience.
Right.
And we just want you to reel it back in a little bit. It's that time that every time, all the time, we've got to realize that, man, a lot of eyes are on us, and we've got to just have that patience. And it's easier said than done. I mean, I get it, right? Why is that farmer, how come he's just not moving out of the way?
Yes,
Why not move out of the way? Yeah. And you know what? I got places to go. If I don't get here, they're not going to unload me. And so let's get it into the real talk, right? If I don't get there, they're not going to unload me. But listen, if you make a bad decision and you really don't get there, boy, you're not going to get unloaded anyway, right? And there's going to be a lot of phone calls we're going to have to make that are going to disturb and just ruin people's lives.
Yeah, you always get a second chance to fix mistakes when you make them. but you never get a second chance to fix a fatal mistake. And that's what we talk about all the time. Protect life. You only get one fatal mistake, right? Because you don't live to do it again. So again, you have to protect that life. You have to be patient. He has just much right on that road. You know, they only do it at certain parts of the year, right? That you really got to worry about these guys. So just, hey, it's that time of year, situational awareness. Be on the lookout, especially on these rural highways. You've got to slow down and just sit back there behind them until it's safe to pace.
Hey, listen, this is BCB Live for the safest station in the nation. We're going to be back on again this afternoon. We want to encourage you to continue to participate, continue to email us, raise your hand, send us notes, let us know what it is that you want to see as well. We're here to give you the news. We're here to encourage you out there on the road to continue and be safe. We want to just continue to thank you and praise you for what you do. Man, it's not easy. It's hard. It's easily, in our minds, the most difficult job out there because it requires your attention all the time. All the time. You don't get that break. You don't get to go back and go, oh my gosh, when is this day going to be over? Right?
No, you don't.
You don't get a chance to do that.
No, you have to stay focused 100% while you're on duty driving. You have to stay focused in that moment, in that time. If you need a time, if you need a second, or if you need a break, pull over. Take yourself, jump out, get that Pepsi, that hot dog. Do what you got to do to relax for a second and then get back on the road. You won't lose that much time, but what you will gain is your ability to stay focused, back in the moment, and make great decisions out there that save lives. And that's what we're here for. That's what we want you to do, and we want you to do it with purpose and intentionality every single day.
Yes, sir. Hey, real quick prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day you've given us. We ask for patience for our drivers, patience for the four-wheelers out there. We ask that you give us that ability to make that best decision all the time. Help us to be leaders. Help us to do the right thing. Help us to put you first and help us to love one another, and that means loving our enemies. Give us the courage to step outside our box, open that door, be nice, be kind to one another. Thank you for all that you do. We ask for your prayers for health, our prayers for our drivers, our prayers for everybody, Lord. Just give us that courage to be the people you need us to be. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. BCB Live, safest station in the nation. We'll see you this afternoon. Watch out.